There's a dead man laying at the end of my driveway.
The issue is that your husband was shot 3 times. He ran screaming and yelling for help. And you know more than what you're telling me. Who have you been having an affair with?
Wake me up.
Why do you think your husband wanted to leave? Was geared towards thinking you shot him, okay?
I'm a fucking criminal. I haven't done nothing. My husband is fucking dead and I'm being treated like I killed him. I can walk out now, right?
No.
I'm not under arrest.
You're not leaving.
It was 2 hours before sunrise on Friday morning, March the 23rd of 2018, when John Paul Wilty walked out of his house to his truck to go to work. It was just another quiet morning in Olive Branch, Mississippi, a suburb of Memphis, Tennessee, until 2 shots rang out, and Wilty, staggering and bleeding, ran screaming for his life before falling to the ground 3 houses away from his own. Another shot rang out, and the 50-year-old father, stepfather, and husband was dead. Before we begin, we would like to extend our deepest sympathies to the family and loved ones of John Paul Wilty, a man taken from his large family and circle of friends.
There's a dead man laying at the end of my driveway.
What?
Young boy. It looks like he's been beat to death.
When you say young, like child or teenager?
Teenager, young adult. I mean, his face is pretty messed up.
Have you checked? Do you see a pulse? Can you, see any breathing or feel a pulse?
He's
okay.
Dead.
Okay, can I get your name, sir?
Donald Myrick, M-Y-R-I-C-K.
How long ago did you find him?
My neighbor just came over and knocked on my door and said, there's somebody laying at the end of your driveway. I think he's dead. And so I got dressed and went out.
Do you recognize him maybe from your neighborhood?
No, I do not. He's hard as a rock. No, Rigged Mortis has set in already.
Okay.
Looks like he's been shot in the chest.
And you said his face is beat up?
It may have been blood. It looks like he was shot on the sidewalk. There's a big puddle of blood where it looked like it ran out his mouth. He's been shot in the chest. I see 1 bullet wound. He does have a cell phone on him, on the belt clip. Yeah, he's been shot in the chest.
Did you hear anything during the night?
No, I didn't.
Okay.
My dog barked once or twice around maybe 2 o'clock in the morning, and that was it. But I hear crews are coming now.
Yeah. Okay, if you just don't touch the body, and they should be there in just a few minutes.
Police from the small town swarmed the location, and paramedics were dispatched as well. It was too late to save the man, and no one reported seeing anyone entering or leaving the neighborhood. One woman in the neighborhood would tell police that she had been awoken by the sound of a man yelling, "Help! Help!" followed by 3 gunshots. She said she heard a car turn on nearby, and then it quickly took off, followed by silence. Another neighbor reported that he'd heard 2 loud crashing sounds outside at the time, but saw nothing when he looked outside. He said he went back to watching TV after he saw there was nothing out there. The only person who had seen the assailant appeared to be John himself, and he could only tell the story to the forensic team and coroner. His ID information and phone helped the police determine his identity. Police ran the man's name and address in his wallet and went back to his home at 9897 Alexander Ridge Drive. In the driveway sat his red Nissan Titan truck, the driver's side door open. A worn black towel laid on the ground, and a spatter or 2 of blood was found nearby. More drops of blood trailed off back in the direction the man had fled in a desperate attempt to save his life. The police knocked on the door of the man's home. It took a few minutes, but eventually the door was opened by his wife, Angela Wilty. She admitted that she had been asleep, and it took her a bit to wake up and realize someone was at the door. The police asked her if they could come in and if she had any firearms in the house. Still in her pajamas, she invited them in and told them that she had a 9mm Ruger pistol in her bedside nightstand. She handed the gun over to the officers. Then they had to inform her that her husband had been found shot to death just a few doors down. When asked, she said that she didn't know of anyone who would have reason to kill him and that he usually left the house this time of the morning before anyone else was up so he could go and get to work and get his paperwork done before the day began. She said the only other person who was home at the time was the couple's teenage daughter. The officers would remark later in their reports that Angela, while obviously groggy from having just woken up, never asked them why they wanted to come in. Angela had an extremely stoic personality and seemed saddened by the news, but remained dry-eyed until her daughter came out and she explained what happened. The two cried together for some time while police and crime scene investigators gathered evidence outside as the sun rose and the details became more apparent. Shell casings were found on the sidewalk outside, and a stray bullet hole had been found within the interior panel of the driver's side door of his truck. Forensics would later determine that one of the rounds fired had passed through John and hit the door. Forensics workers and the police would put together a quick scenario of what had probably happened based on the initial shots fired, the trail of blood, and the positioning of the body. John had come out of the house and opened the door to climb in his truck when someone came upon him unawares. That person then shot John twice in the chest and he began yelling for help. John then staggered past the person and ran through the neighboring lawns before either falling to the sidewalk area and then being shot in the head, or the person took a quick shot, hitting the man in the head, killing him nearly instantly at that point. There was no intended robbery, they surmised, because his wallet, cell phone, and keys to the truck were either on the man's body or nearby, completely undisturbed. There were no signs the truck had been rifled through either. It was almost unquestionably an act of murder. Who had killed John Wilty and why? Canvassing the neighborhood led to few clues to the actual incident, but it did enlighten them as to who John Wilty was. Neighbors portrayed him as a hard-working fellow who led a maintenance team for a local business. Angelo worked as a rent collector for a landlord that spent part of his time in Memphis and part of his time in Miami, Florida. The man, Nisam Benavi, known as Shavi to his friends, frequently hung out with the couple, often helping them work on their cars. Angela was an accomplished mechanic and had begun restoring a 1980s Corvette in their home with his help. Angela also earned extra money doing sheetrock and tile installations for a remodeling company in Memphis that her stepfather, C.O. Norville, worked at. John and Angela had been together since 1999. The relationship, the neighbors said, was contentious, with the two often fighting, splitting up, getting back together, and then fighting again. John had just moved back into the home with her months before after an extended period of absence. That absence, police records would show, included him living with another woman and then a terrible domestic dispute between Angela and John that left Angela beaten up. John slashed across both thighs with a box cutter and John serving time in a local jail for assault. John was on parole when he came back to live with Angela prior to being murdered. With few leads to go on, the Olive Branch Police Department began where most murder investigations begin, by investigating and interviewing the spouse. The pajamas that Angela was wearing that morning were confiscated and turned over to the Mississippi State Crime Lab for gunshot residue testing and to check for any blood droplets that might have been caught on them had she been involved in the shooting. Then she dressed and came down to the police station. There, she provided her cell phone to the police for a data copy before it was returned to her. The interview began by looking into her contentious relationship with John, centering on the difficulties the two had.
Any point yesterday were y'all arguing, fussing?
We have arguments like every other normal couple, because we work a lot. We have a lot of debt over our head. We're just now getting to where we can see above water.
Mm-hmm.
And he like I said, he likes to shop, but he likes to do his own thing too.
Right.
So yeah, we had one of our normal arguments
And what was that
over
about?
money.
Financial arguments?
Yeah. Because he wants a car. He don't like the truck. And we can't get another car. Because when his other car got stolen, before he came back to me, his car got stolen. And we had to get that one paid off.
Insurance didn't pay for it?
He had just had it. He got it like that December. He made the down payment in December because he had totaled his previous truck. So when he got back on the truck, he put money down on the car. And being said, I guess the blue book value of the car, he gave more than what it was really worth. And the insurance paid a good bit of it. We still owed a few thousand on it. So within the last year and a half, we tried to clear up all his debt that he got into while he wasn't with me.
Okay, and you said y'all broke up when?
2015. We had a big fight. It was August 21st.
2015?
Yeah.
And what was that argument over?
He was drinking Jägermeister, which John never drinks hard liquor. He's not a drinker. I've got 4 Bud Lights that's been in my refrigerator for probably a year.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't drink.
Okay. He never drinks?
He hasn't drank anything since he's been back. He might have drank 2. There was a 6-pack. He won periodically, but he's not a drinker.
But on August 21st, he was drinking Jaeger.
Yeah.
Where did y'all live then?
We weren't together.
Okay.
We were living separately. He lived in an apartment. I lived at the house, and he called me over to the apartment. He had been drinking. We had had a big fight prior to the incident, and he beat the shit out of me.
So you went over to the apartment, y'all got into a fight, and then he beat you up, and then what happened?
He went to jail.
You called police?
No, I didn't. I wasn't able to call the police. He was trying to kill me. He told me.
Somebody else called the
my
police?
son did. My 18-year-old.
Was he with you?
He was driving. I wouldn't drive that night because I've had like 2 Smirnoffs, and I'm not going to drink and drive.
Okay.
And I told him, John, I don't need to come over there because it sounds like you're upset. So we ended up, we've gotten through all that. We've got fines. Well, he has fines to pay. He's on probation. We moved past all that after him and Dia split up, and he came back home.
The two continue discussing the relationships within the family, including the number of children and stepchildren the two shared.
He's got 6 kids.
During this 16-year period y'all were together?
No.
Or prior to y'all's marriage?
He's got 5 before us.
Okay.
And then we had together. He's the doctors told us when me and him went to the doctor one time, he has what I guess they call it a sex addiction that some people can't control.
And they all have the different parents?
Josh and Chris have
Twins.
1.
Mm-hmm.
And then Ashley and Crystal have 1.
Okay.
And then John Paul has another 1.
Okay.
So it's 3 baby mamas, and then we got.
Okay.
Like I said, John was never a bad person. He was never a hard drinker. That incident, and I couldn't do anything because the state took it in their hands when the incident happened. But I told my son, you should have never called the cops. He was like, Mom, you cut him open.
You cut him open?
during the incident, and I don't even remember doing that.
Where'd you cut him?
On his knees.
Both of them?
That's what he told me. Because when I've always carried a pocket knife on me, which I don't have today, I guess when he was, because I know he had me on the ground beating me in my head, telling me he was going to kill me, and I don't know, that fight or flight kicked in, and I just went to swinging, thinking that he would back up. I don't know, but like I said, we both drinking. We moved past it. We're almost through this 1129. We've been paying all that money out, just trying to get through that.
So that was in August of 2015. Okay.
You know, this is like the only person I've ever loved in my whole life. Never knew what love felt like. And I don't believe I could ever love nobody else again.
Next, they discussed that John had a firearm of his own, even though he was a parolee and not allowed to be in possession of one.
And you said he had a pistol?
His friend has his. His is broken.
What kind of gun did he have?
I'm not sure if it was a 9 or a 45. I know, I don't know a lot about guns.
As the interview goes on, the information about the gun is passed along and the lead is followed up on. It turns out that John's friend, who did know about the gun, was never given the item. Instead, he said John regularly carried it stashed inside his truck. The pistol, a .40 caliber Smith & Wesson, was not found in the truck. Over the next few minutes, the two talk about the couple's finances, spurred on by the mention of a life insurance policy. Angela says that even though John was a big spender, he had managed to put away about $16,000 in savings over the last year, despite the truck payments. Things weren't adding up, and the interviewer decides to press that a bit.
Me and my husband don't have a horrible relationship. Have normal family issues.
Because I've been doing this a long time, okay? I got 20 years just at this.
I'm scared to death right here. I ain't even gonna lie, I ain't never been in the jailhouse like this.
Well, I'm gonna tell you right now, I was geared towards thinking you shot him, okay? And then I looked at the crime scene, and I walked it, and I looked at it. That man was running for his life. Somebody was after that man. He ran 4 houses from your house. He was scared for his life.
Who else
So basically you and your husband exist in a house together and y'all pretty much have separate lives. That's what I'm hearing from you.
We don't really have separate lives, but, you know, we both get up, we go to work. He leaves early as crap, so he's tired when he comes home. And he's in the bed earlier than me, because I'm not going to go to bed and go to sleep until I know my daughter's in bed. That's my main focus, is my kid.
Then the question of who she had been talking and texting with on her cell phone comes up.
There were 3 people I talked to on my phone anyway, besides my kids. And that's Rodney, my boss, Shelby. I talked to my dad, my stepdad.
Well, by looking in your phone, there's some things in there that I think you're being deceptive about, okay, with me.
Right.
Like, these people you talk shit to, like you said. Who have you been having an affair with?
I'm not having an affair.
Do you just leave these guys on and make them think you want to be with them?
I don't want to be with nobody but my husband.
The stuff that's in your phone leads me to believe that you have been having an affair. Okay? So, I need you to be completely honest with me. Because phones don't lie.
No, I know.
Okay? Texting don't lie. It's there. It's in black and white. And the stuff that's in his phone, he's going to leave you.
I figured that's probably what we were coming to when we started back fighting over money. It's always fighting over money.
But you have, the money's not the issue right now. The issue is that your husband was shot 3 times. And he was scared for his life. He ran for his life. And you know more than what you're telling me. And you can't sit here and tell me you don't. You know more than what you're telling me.
I don't know anything as far as him getting hurt, because I would never want to see him get hurt. I've always been there to protect him.
Black and white don't lie. You hear me? Black and white don't lie. Phone calls, cell phone locations.
What's that mean?
That means I can ping anywhere in this town and they will tell me what cell phone was in that location. Okay?
In the location, like this morning?
Yeah.
When I was asleep?
Yeah. But you know who came over there.
I don't. I swear I don't.
You know I can pull all that off your phone. I've got it downloaded right now. Text messages, phone calls, conversations.
I know Shelby was supposed to come and wake me up this morning.
What time was Shelby supposed to come wake you up?
He was supposed to come over at 5:30 and wake me up.
Wake you up for what?
To go to work. Get up, get my daughter to school.
Why would he come over there and wake you up?
Because that's him. That's what he does sometimes.
You've been having an affair with him, hadn't
I
you?
swear I haven't. I've never slept with that man.
You've been leading him on?
Nope. We've talked. We've got a lot in common, but no. I'm not screwing around on my husband.
Your text messages say differently.
I know. It seems like we've had an affair. But
You have had an affair with that man.
I swear
That
I
man
haven't
came over
slept
this
with
morning
you.
and shot your husband, didn't he?
No. I swear I don't know that. You call him and get him in here, but I don't even know that he ever came out there. I swear to
If
you,
he
I
was
don't
supposed
know
to be
that.
there at 5 o'clock this morning,
I told him he could come over at 5:30 and ring my doorbell and wake me up.
why do you think your husband wanted to leave?
I don't know.
Because he found out you were having an affair.
So why hadn't he talked to me?
Why would he want to? He just wanted to leave. And your boyfriend shot him.
I don't know that. I
You don't know
even
that?
I swear I don't. I don't even know if Shelby owns a gun.
How long you been seeing Shelby?
I haven't been seeing Shelby. I've been working for Shelby. Shelby's the one came to my house last night and was working with my husband on the truck. But
Is
I
this
have
something
not-
you and him put together?
What?
You and Shelby, is this something you and him put together to get rid of your husband?
No. I would have never had someone to kill my husband. He is too good of a person for this. He could have had a better life. Nobody, it's not worth killing somebody to be with somebody. It's not worth it. just crazy.
Have you led Shabby to the point to where he thinks you were gonna leave your husband to be with him?
Shabby knew me and my husband were arguing and had some problems. Shabby talked to me. He tried to guide me a little bit, but we've never slept together.
What was he guiding you to?
Telling me how, because I suck when it comes to words. I suck when it comes to trying to talk to somebody.
Well, by your text messages, you don't have a problem at all.
I don't have a problem talking
to other men.
Well, yeah.
Okay?
Angela maintains that she never cheated on her husband, and her naturally stoic manner of speech and steady personality is making it hard to read if anything is getting a rise out of her. So she pushes harder. Things get heated.
Did you walk outside and shoot your husband this morning? Your daughter is not going to have a mother. Because when I take your phone and all your phone records and his phone and all his phone records and present them to the grand jury, your daughter will finish school and graduate and get married and have children without her mother. Because I'm going to put the hammer on you. You can sit here and think about it for a few minutes, and I'll be back in here. When you get ready to tell me the truth, I'll listen to you. But when I take you down there and present you to the grand jury, your daughter will finish school without you.
I can walk out now, right?
No,
I'm not under arrest.
you're not leaving.
Left alone again in the room, Angela cracks a bit under the pressure. The interviewer comes back in and goes in forcefully on her accusations in an attempt to get Angela to admit to somehow being involved.
I don't mean to be mean to you, okay? We just got to find out what's going on, okay? Because whoever shot him, he knew. Whoever shot him approached him at the car and shot him. He ran, screaming and yelling for help. He was shot twice in the chest and once in the head.
Oh my God.
And like I said, I don't want to be mean to you.
I would never in my life take my husband away from my daughter like that.
But would Chavez, would
I
he do
don't
that?
believe he would do that. I don't believe he would do that.
I know the man was scared to death. And the man, whoever...
He's scared of somebody had a gun pointing to me.
He ran. He ran through the yards, out in the road, back into the yards, and was shot again.
I would rather him leave me, split up, than something like this happen to him.
This is a terrible, terrible, unfortunate event for you and your daughter and his children, because now they don't have a father. And by looking in your phone, honey, you're not innocent.
I may not be innocent from talking to guys, but I had nothing to do with my husband. I could not see somebody losing their life over no kind of argument. I couldn't take my husband away from his daughter like this. Me and this man is all that child has.
Have y'all just maybe fallen out of love, you and him? Maybe you didn't love him anymore, that way that's what you were going to these other men for, how they talk to you or whatever? The things that they said to you? Even though if you wasn't sleeping with them?
None of it is worth this.
Angela doesn't break, though. Even under the strongly worded accusations, she's left alone again for a short while.
I'm a fucking criminal and I haven't done nothing. My husband is fucking dead and I'm being treated like I killed him.
In the end, they have nothing concrete to hold her on, and she has admitted to nothing more than sending some racy texts and taking part in some marital squabbles. She is released to go home with her daughter. Once home, she goes about taking care of the things that a person has to do after such a horrible incident, informing family members and friends, letting her husband's work know what happened, and taking care of the funeral arrangements once the body is released. She also files for the life insurance policy that John had through work, which is what anyone would do under these circumstances. It would be October the 15th that year, nearly 7 months later, when there would be a break in the case. Police were called back out to the Wilty home on Alexander Ridge Drive. It was about 7 in the evening when they pulled up and saw a huge argument happening between Angela Wilty and her stepson, Bradley Casey, John's son from his first marriage. It seems that right after the insurance money had come in, Angela had helped out the young man by buying him a used car for about $10,000 with the agreement that he would pay her back over time. When Bradley quit making payments, she took the car back and told him he could no longer drive it, starting a roaring argument outside of her home. After the two were separated, Bradley took one of the officers aside and told him, "I can tell you who killed John Wilty and where the gun is." Bradley was escorted off the property and quietly taken over to the Olive Branch Police Department to give a statement. After being advised of his rights, he spills the beans on what Angela had asked him to do earlier in the summer.
It's been a rough day, huh? What happened?
We were fighting for 2 months.
Really?
And she got unhappy, so she left.
Really? Alright, well let's go back over this with your mom, I guess. Explain to me again how this came about.
So, I think it was, I forgot how long it was before she told me.
Mm-hmm. And you can't remember about how long it was?
Oh, it's been a minute.
Okay.
It's been a while. Cause when did it happen? Like August, something like that? Around there?
March, I think.
March or August, something like that. And I was living with Sia.
Mm-hmm.
And I think a week prior living with him, she calls me, and she called me while I was at work, and she told me, she's like, "I need to talk to you." I was working at Brightview at the time.
She said she needed to talk to you?
She told my brother the same thing.
Who's your brother?
Dylan Casey.
Dylan?
But Dylan don't know nothing.
Okay.
I'm the only one that knew about it.
Okay.
Like, she actually told.
I got you.
So she took all 3 of us in the backyard, and she told us, she's like, "Well, I'm probably about to get locked up, I don't know."
So she called all 3 of you back there?
Yeah, but she actually told me who did it.
Were you by yourself when
Yeah.
she talked? So this wasn't when she had all 3 of y'all back there,
She didn't tell them to.
Okay.
She told them, she pulled me to the side and started talking to me. And then she told me, she's like, "There's a gun sitting in the backyard of yours and Cio's house." This is when I was living there. I didn't know nothing about it.
Mm-hmm.
And then I asked her, I was like, "So who did it?" She said, "Cio." But as soon as
She say how?
no, I didn't ask no more, because my dad was telling me, he was like, "There ain't no doubt about it, she was involved in it." I didn't want to believe it. I mean, that's my mom. I didn't want to believe that. My mouth shut.
Mm-hmm. How much did that car cost?
almost $10,000.
Okay.
It was a black Pontiac G8. Well, last month she turned around and took it from me because I moved out of the house. Everything. Now today she took the car. And that car meant a lot to me because John bought that for me. Yeah, me and John weren't on the same pages, but I mean, he raised me my whole life. He was there. Childhood.
Well, John bought it for you. John was deceased at this time.
When I was 19.
Are we talking about the same car?
Yeah.
The
John,
G8?
yeah, the G8.
No, I'm talking about the black car your mom took away from you.
Yeah, John was deceased when she bought that.
Mm-hmm.
She got the life insurance and bought that.
Okay, but you said John bought it for you.
John's money bought that.
I got you. Okay. I got you.
John's money bought that. So technically, I say John bought that car for
I got
me.
you. Okay.
And that's the reason why I love that car. Because, yeah, me and him had a rough time in my childhood. Yeah, me and him said things. But, I mean, he raised me. That was like my father. Even though my biological dad's sitting out there. But my mom did tell me CEO did it, and then I get a call Tuesday from my old boss saying, "Hey, did you hear what happened to CEO?" I was like, "No."
Mm-hmm.
But
All right, so your mom told you about this gun, right? She pulled y'all all three were in the backyard. And
but she only told me.
She pulled you to the side while them two were still standing out there? Were they right beside you when?
No. They were sitting on the patio.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And what did she tell you about that?
She told me, she didn't describe it. She just told me where it was located. It was near a fence, like in the corner of a fence, in a yellow bucket with a red top.
Mm-hmm.
It was in a bucket like the cat litter box you buy from Walmart, like yay high.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a bucket. And she told me, she's like, it's in there. Well, I looked for like a week looking for that gun. I just wanted to find out if it was true.
Mm-hmm.
And I seen the gun.
If what Bradley said was true, then the case had just been cracked wide open. The Memphis Police Department is immediately called and advised of the situation. C.O. Norville, Angela's stepfather, is currently out on parole after spending nearly 20 years in jail for murder. Police and forensic teams descend on the ramshackle house he lives in. After an extensive search, they find a kitty litter container, now hidden under the house in the crawl space. Inside is John's .40 caliber Smith & Wesson pistol and a box of ammunition, with 3 rounds missing. They also find additional firearms paraphernalia hidden throughout the property, things that a felony parolee like Norville should never have. They arrest the man for possession of the firearm and bullets and bring him in for questioning about the murder. He is interviewed by members of the Memphis Police Department as the officer from the Olive Branch Police Department looks on. They have him on the firearms charges and they use it to put pressure on him.
What'd you do with the gun?
What gun?
The gun that was used to kill John.
I don't know what you're talking about there. I didn't kill John.
Who did?
I don't know.
Did Angela?
No, she wouldn't do that. She don't have it in her heart to do that. She's bad about arguing.
Say that one more time.
She's good at arguing and all, but she don't have that in her.
You know what 65 times 3 is?
Huh?
Do you know what 65 times 3 is? It's 195. You know how many bullets that we found? 65. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So you look at 195 years.
Yeah, I know.
Okay. So now I'm saying, again, I'm not making any promises to you.
Yeah.
It looks a hell of a lot better on you to be cooperative and to be truthful than to lie. You understand that?
Yeah. I didn't kill John. Now, pretty dang sure Angela didn't kill him.
You're pretty dang sure that Angela didn't kill him.
Yeah.
Well, you just told me earlier that she would never.
Yeah, that's what I say. She don't have it in her, so I know. You know.
She talked about killing him?
No.
She ain't never talked about hurting him at all.
No. So the only thing I've heard her talk about is so the night that he pulled her out of the car twice and she had to cut him.
C.O.'s been interviewed as a murder suspect before. He's not going to crack easily.
You gotta be honest with us.
I'm being honest with you. I didn't kill John, and I don't know who did.
How long did you spend in jail the first time?
Prison?
Prison.
19 years, 9 months, straight.
Straight. And what was that for?
Murder.
What happened with that?
Guy was slapping my kids around and cost me $10,000 contract. I'd be making a month.
Right. Who was this guy?
My ex-wife's boyfriend. He slapped my kids around, and after I got out, I found out he'd raped my oldest daughter.
Okay. And what happened?
Yeah. I snapped and I killed the guy.
How?
I went to his house, knocked on his door, told him it was time to say goodbye. Well, that's just what was put in the paper. I don't remember it, but and all that was it.
All right, CO. You remember Lieutenant Flanagan?
Yeah.
I'm Lieutenant Driver.
Yeah.
We're not here playing games with you.
I know you're not.
I'm running ballistics on that gun right now. I'm pulling a DNA off the blood that's on that gun, and if it matches John Wilty, I'm charging you.
Okay.
Not only that, but I'm running a DNA sample, touch sample on that gun, and if your prints are on that gun or your DNA is on that gun, I'm gonna make sure you spend the rest of your life in prison. Cause I'm not playing with you.
I know you're not.
This is some serious shit. A man lost his life,
Right.
and he has 7 children that'll never see their father again.
Yeah, I know.
And if you think I'm here to play with you, you better think again. Cause I can either help you or I can hurt you. And right now, I'm ready to lock your ass up. And if you think I'm playing with you, you keep on.
I'm being honest as I can. Because I don't know who killed John. I don't know who put the guns there on my property.
Well, that's going to be, it doesn't matter about the guns on the property because you're the one that lives there by yourself.
Yep.
You're the one that
Yeah.
staying there. You're in possession of it.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah, I know.
Unless you got some proof of something we can go on to lead this investigation somewhere else, it's all pointing to you.
C.O. isn't going to budge, though. He knows the math on the prison term he is already facing on the gun possession charges, and he knows that he'll never walk free again. There's no reason for him to roll over and implicate someone else.
I'm sorry. Nothing to say.
You want to leave it at that?
Got no choice.
You have a choice. It's a matter of whether you really want to make a choice or not.
Right now, I'm sure that if you're willing to help yourself out in Olive Branch, that we are willing to help you in Memphis. But once I walk out of this door, my offer's off the table. And I promise you that when I indict you for homicide, I'm going for the maximum penalty. And I'm going to ask for the death penalty. I'm not stopping with you. That means I ain't going to have a mother, because I'm going after her next. That means Dylan ain't going to have a mama. They can go visit her on Sunday and take her cigarettes in jail. And they can put money on y'all's books for the rest of y'all's natural born life, because I'm not stopping here.
C.O. Norville would not turn evidence in the case, and at the time he had no idea who had turned him in for having the firearm and ammunition. It would be March 3rd of 2019 before Angela Wilty would be arrested and charged with the murder of her husband, John Wilty. During the intervening months, the bullets recovered from the scene and John's corpse were determined to have likely been fired from the same gun that was found at Norville's home. The shell casings found at the scene of the murder were an exact match to those found in the ammo box he possessed as well. And even more damning, while there were no fingerprints taken from the pistol, there were small flecks of blood on the barrel that were an exact match for the blood DNA of John Wilty. Bond for Angela Wilty was set at $1 million, and she would eventually turn evidence and plea bargain for a reduced charge of manslaughter. She would receive a sentence of 20 years in prison. C.O. Norville would strangely be acquitted on the charge of murder, but he would be found guilty for the possession of firearms and ammunition by a convicted felon. He will most likely spend the rest of his life in prison. Angela would be sued in court for the return of the remaining assets from the life insurance policy, paying back over $500,000. If you found this case compelling, don't forget to like the video, comment down below your take on it, and please subscribe to the channel. We're on our way to 1 million, and we'd love to have you along. Also, hit the notification bell in order to stay up to date each time we reveal a new shocking case. Until next time, stay safe and keep your eyes peeled. You never know what's lurking in the shadows.